All right, so the context for this is, I think crypto's broken moral compass. This was a post I read from Polenia, and I think stuff like this, what we are looking at on screen, which we have blurred out for the audience because
it's blurred out. We can't even say it. It's most tokens, we cannot read the names. We won't do it.
David, I think tokens like this, meme coins like this, kind of the underlying mania are breaking people. Notably, our friend and previous Bankless podcast guest, Polenia, who's been a longtime crypto writer and advocate, wrote a post this week called Crypto's Broken Moral Compass. And we'll get to that post in a minute and tell you exactly what Polenia said. But I think it's stuff like this. So I know it's blurred out, but for the audience, what are we looking at here? What is this air quotes meta right now?
Yeah, so this is some individual's portfolio of meme coins that they have that are all themed racist. They're all racist themed. Using words that we will not be able to use on the podcast, nor would we ever want to. And the funny thing is every single one of these meme coins, this gentleman is up in profit on his meme coins, on their meme coins. And so not only are they racist meme coins, but they're also profitable meme coins. And this is the intersection that I think many people are finding disenjoyable, the intersection between profitability and racism, or just egregiousness, or crudeness, things that normal civilized society would call distasteful. Why is being distasteful also profitable? Why are these two things intersecting at this moment of time? And I think this is a moment for reflection for the industry. It's like, how did we get here? My answer for this, Ryan, is, well, meme coins very quickly realized that this is a game of attention. And so when 10,000 meme coins are all being born every single hour in the crypto space, because we just had a few meme coins go to $1 billion. And then all of a sudden with the tools that we have, the ability to mint tokens, it becomes a very big competition for any amount of attention whatsoever. And so I think over the last 2 weeks, that meta has been unearthed and people realize that the more egregious, the more crude, the more just shocking you can name your meme coin, the more attention you can get. And so this has devolved into one of the worst metas in terms of public perception that I think crypto has ever had for itself.
Yeah, a few things I'll note is actually, so the idea of people getting rich on racism is a thing that's happening. And Plenty has gone farther than even the comments that you just made. We'll get to that post in a minute, calling this evil, basically. And I think this is the type of thing that sets people over the edge. Are we just degrading to a bunch of short-term attention games that are now devolving into racism? Why? Because we can make a profit off of that. Is that what crypto really is? And people are looking at this as the social layer, and they're basically saying, this is gross. I don't want to be a part of this, right? If this is crypto, then I don't want to be part of crypto. And this is kind of where I think the attention economy can devolve, or at least it has devolved right here. I guess a few things I'll say, which is, I would say some ironies. One thing for these racist coin collectors, I will note, is that none of this is private. So again, we're not on any private layer ones here. So whatever coins you own in your Solana address, that can be AML, KYC, probably linked to you, right? There's all sorts of chainalysis type companies.
Your base address too, has nothing to do with Solana.
People know who you are. They're going to know who you are. This is actually not super private, right? It's pseudonymous, but not private. So maybe there will be some kind of social cost for doing some of these activities. Can you imagine if a notable crypto influencer or a VC firm got caught with things like this in their wallets? It will cost them reputationally and deservedly so. I mean, that's what society sort of does, right? Even if it's not technically illegal, we can socially pressure people through mores and norms and just say, hey, we don't stand for this. This isn't cool to do. And I wonder how much of that will come to pass. Also, it presents an interesting, I think, juncture for not necessarily the base layer of validators on Solana in terms of whether they process these transactions, but at least at the front ends, right? If you're a front end and you're kind of like a Jupiter, some sort of exchange with this set of tokens on Solana, do you screen this out? I think probably the answer is yes for almost all of them. And so that's a call I'm sure many applications are making today. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a matter of just how much do we want to guard our public image in crypto? We like to have permissionlessness. Like we like to have like permissionless open finance that anyone can partake in and enjoy. And so this is like a natural byproduct of that. And so, but also at the same time, it
doesn't have to be though, right? Like it's just
we could curate and we could manicure and we could like put a more polished
censor.
Censor. We could do that. I don't think anyone's suggesting that we do that. But then we have this. Then this is what's going on as a result.
So let's talk about this tweet that you included in this section, David, which is like the context of maybe how we got there and why there's some sort of like profit incentive, a number go up incentive to degenerate to the level of like now people are actually trading like racist meme coins, and who knows how it'll devolve from there, right? Like it could get even worse. What tweet are we looking at from Reagan here?
Yeah, so this is actually like kind of in an adjacent topic. This is an adjacent tweet thread. The very first tweet in this thread says, it's widely accepted that the way to make money in VC is to be contrarian and right. And Reagan continues and says, this is absolutely false in crypto venture. All that matters is your ability to front run the narrative. And so this is actually how a thread about how crypto VC is different than normal VC, whereas in normal VC, you are focused on like cash flows, revenue, fundamentals. But Reagan says in crypto VC, it's actually about narrative. And they unpack this whole entire thread. They unpack like why this is true. And like halfway through this tweet thread in tweet 20, we can't read the whole thread. Really good thread, link in the show notes. Tweet number 20 says, your crypto VC terminal liquidity comes from retail. And something that's nice about crypto is that generally startups do a pre-seed, a seed round, maybe a Series A, and then they issue a token. Whereas in the traditional finance world, this going public on the stock market, it's like Series A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then the retail is left to buy the bag on the open stock market. So at least in crypto, we are going public sooner, and retail can get some upside here. But when our terminal liquidity comes from retail, Reagan says whatever you do at seed, you need to more or less underwrite that a retail audience is going to be excited about buying that thing on the open market, which is wildly different for terminal liquidity than traditional venture capital. This brings us to the second major distinction between crypto and normal venture. What do crypto markets value? I'll give you a hint, Reagan says. It ain't cash flows. Crypto markets value attention. And so this attention, this focus on the attention economy where attention is liquidity, really warps the incentive of both crypto VC and crypto meme coins. And so we're seeing this happen with the warped incentives around crypto VC, and now we're actually seeing it show up in like the form factor that our tokens come in.
Yeah, I think that's the main point. And anywhere where Reagan said VC, I think you could just substitute investor, right?
Right.
And it kind of makes sense. But this it really nails it. Crypto markets value attention. So what we're seeing in these meme coin markets is basically attention markets, right? And it's not necessarily true that like these have underlying fundamentals, as we talked about in the past, but they do have some sort of spotlight on them. It's kind of weird though to have this effect of like racism is trending and therefore somebody's making money, or there could be some incentive to actually produce like racist coins or unsavory coins in some way just because you can make a profit. Like that is kind of like, I wouldn't say uniquely crypto, but the ability to monetize on top of this attention economy is something that crypto is providing sort of out of the box. And that's where we get to, I think, this conversation about, well, have we lost the plot? Is that all we are, like all that it is here? And I feel like almost the meme coinery of the past few months, the past 6 months or so, this like prices go up in a way that is not necessarily commensurate with all of the fundamentals, probably according to people like Plenia, or are very much looking at like actual use cases of the blockchain. And is it helping people out in the real world? All the real world stuff. They look at this and then kind of throw racist meme coins on top of it, because why not? And so Plenia comes at this and is like, this industry is broken. I rage quit. So at the end of this post is basically like a rage quit. I'm like not going to write about crypto anymore. And keep in mind, this is just one individual, but I think exemplifies maybe some perspective that a lot of people feel. And also, this is a very talented crypto analyst, right? Somebody that I've been reading for a very long time. So when they say that we've reached a breaking point, crypto is evil, are some of the words that in this post, and I'm rage quitting. Like I paused and I read this on Monday morning and I was like, wow, okay, what do I think about this? How do I process it? Why don't we actually get into this post and kind of dissect it a little bit, David?
Yeah, I think I'll start reading from this section here. The DeFi Ponzi's, the meme coins, the ugly JPEGs of 2021. It's the same story every time. There's some grandiose narrative for what's nothing more than a pure casino. Can't get much worse, right? Sadly, nope. Things have hit an all-time new bottom with 2024 racist, sexist, and other shit-headed memes, which are merely a vehicle to transfer wealth from the many to the most obnoxious people on the planet. So why has there been such a sharp decline? I think it's pretty simple. The crypto community lacks any moral compass. The same defensiveness and cope gets on repeated. Everything's a Ponzi is as a justification for what we're doing here in crypto. And which Polenia responds, this is obviously false. There are many productive assets worldwide, organizations that invented products that have led to significant increases in productivity and the quality of life. Scammers are everywhere, like claim the crypto people. Crypto's no different. To which Polenia responds, yes, crypto does not have a monopoly on scammers, grifters, and opportunists. There are industries that are almost entirely free of scammers, and then there are industries in which scams run rampant. Crypto is absolutely on the extreme end of the latter spectrum. And then there will always be a demand for casinos, to which Polenia responds, yes, but crypto is really a terrible casino. And then they link a talk by John Woo in which John Woo talks about all the ways in that casinos are actually really
fair.
Good casinos, very fair, like legal, compliant organizations that really punish cheaters.
They have some checks and balances, whereas crypto, you can get completely rugged by like anybody.
And then the latest one, racists are everywhere, to which Polenia doesn't even dignify with a response. So basically saying like, hey, like sure, like permissionless open system, fine. Scammers are everywhere, fine. But also it doesn't really matter. Anything that you list, like crypto is always on like the worst end of that spectrum. So therefore, peace, I'm out, says Polenia.
Yeah. So what was your take when you read this, David? I'm not sure when you read it, but I think you published this or they published this over the weekend, and I just caught up with it on Monday morning. I heard some conversation about it. What was your take when you read this?
This one line that comes right after the part I was reading, I thought like, oh, that's me and you, Ryan, that he's talking about us, which is others clearly know that this is all very, very bad, but we give it a wide berth and we just say, hey, let's just focus on the good and we'll ignore the very, very bad.
That's not only what I say, that's what I do.
It's what generally. I do. Yeah, that's how
I'm like, I wasn't even looking at this corner of crypto, Twitter, and meme coinery until like it was drawn to my attention. So I just ignore it.
One more sentence or two is Polenia says, even when the people who were willing to speak up back then, which is like post 2022, after that, all that bad stuff, people who were willing to speak up back then have said nothing about this latest wave of insanity. At this point, this evil in crypto is banal and normalized. And for me, at post 2022, I do personally sometimes just feel at quite a loss of all of the terribleness that crypto promotes. And so that's what I've done. I've just kind of like, well, it is what it is. I have no power over it. People are going to do what people are going to do. And I'm going to focus on the parts of crypto that I see good. And that's like, that's what I got.
Well, what Polenia is saying though, so okay, yeah, I remember, and I remember it. I mean, we were right there in the depths of 2022 where like you were really feeling it and actually had kind of an emotional moment on the Bankless weekly rollup. And I think we were talking about like all of the billions of dollars that were lost by retail, and specifically like how we're not learning anything from it, and sort of this existential wondering of like,
what are we doing here?
Are we on like team good? Polenia is making the case that like at a certain point, if you're involved in this social layer and you're pushing these technologies, then Polenia is saying at a certain point you are culpable. If you are not actively pushing back, resisting, I guess maybe like tweeting or creating podcasts or something like this to say that this behavior is like wrong, is not true crypto, it's not enough to merely ignore that. Like I think Polenia is making the case and focus on the good. They're saying like you actually have to actively try to boost the autoimmunity of the system here and the social layer here. And if you're not doing that, you're culpable. At some point you have to walk away. That's why I'm walking away.
To continue leveling up your crypto game, then you need to get on the Bankless newsletter. It's the world's most popular crypto email and is completely free. Just click below to sign up.